Hello everyone, you're listening to the Earful Tower podcast. We're about to take you to the 10th arrondissement of Paris, the melting pot. Now that is some funky music.
It is indeed.
Do you know where it's from?
I might.
Well, it's from...
but let's share.
The easy bit is it's from our one-man house band, Press Maxon.
Impress Maxon.
Ooh, impressive Impress Maxon.
Yeah, that's what I like to call him.
We set him the challenge. We said music that relates to this district. Mm-hmm. He hit the nail on the head.
He delivered.
This time. So he says this tune is what he wrote to me. This tune is called Canal Saint-Martin, which is obviously in the district.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that soon. He said it was by singer, movie star of the 50s, Maria Remusat. And it caught my ear. An ultra-simple song, gorgeous melody. But her version is slow, and the spirit around the canal can be lively. So I imagine a couple of guitar players in a cafe or on a sidewalk turning it into a real toe tapper.
I love it, a toe tapper. And the 10th is a bit of a toe tapper, isn't it?
It is a toe tapper.
Yeah.
It is a toe tapper indeed.
It's a toe tapper kind of district.
Before we try and define it for you, I think, you know when sometimes you have to declare that like what's it called, like the judge can't preside over the case because he had conflict of interest. We have a conflict of interest.
Do we?
Yeah, because we love the 10th.
Okay, I see what you're getting at. We do, actually.
We spent a lot of time there and around the 10th, around the canal in our sort of formative Paris years. Mm-hmm. So this was a heavy dose of nostalgia for us.
It really was.
So
there's no place in Paris I feel more at home in than around the canal, which is like we never really lived there, but close by, and we spent so much time there. So it's a special place.
Nostalgia overload. So I don't know, maybe everyone can take 5 points off our final score because I have a feeling they're going to be high. But ask me to define the 10th arrondissement.
Well, Oliver, would you like to define?
No.
The 10th arrondissement? You wouldn't?
Because I got the expert to do it. I asked the man who literally wrote the book on the 10th arrondissement if he would mind explaining it for the folks at home.
And who might that be?
Well, that would be Alex Toledano.
But of course.
He is the president of a company called Visto, which is an international art consultancy. We sort of run in similar circles as with this guy, not because we do art consultancy.
Not
but
quite.
We have mutual friends. We know him as well. And when I say he wrote the book on the 10th, let me just spell it out here. His last book was Portraits of the Gare du Nord. He has a PhD in history at UC Berkeley that focused on the history of the Rue du Faubourg Saint-Denis since the 1950s.
So he knows.
He knows.
He knows. Whatever there is to know, he knows.
Yeah. And he's going to explain. I'm not going to say anything more about it. He recorded a couple minutes at the Gare du Nord. Are you ready?
Perfect.
Choo-choo.
Good morning. I'm here on the track at the Gare du Nord, about to go to London, and I think this is kind of the perfect place to tell you about the 10th and what makes it special, because it's thanks to this train station, which is the biggest in all of Europe in terms of the number of people who pass through every day, and also the Gare de l'Est right nearby, that make this arrondissement special. There's so many people who come in every day here that it turns its streets into their playground. The people who come in not only from the rest of Europe, in the UK, but also from, more importantly, even from the surrounding areas, the banlieue, the suburbs of Paris. And what makes the streets of this neighborhood so interesting is that they are the locals, the people who come from outside of the neighborhood. They're here every day, but they might live somewhere else, and it's those people who keep the street life and the economy of the 10th arrondissement ticking in a way that you don't necessarily see in other parts of Paris. It's what I love about this part of the city, is that everywhere on the streets you find different classes of people from different parts of the world, different languages, backgrounds, and I think that's what makes this arrondissement special. And even in the kind of trendier places for Parisians, that are, people who have been gentrifying this part of Paris, many of the people who are attending those places, the restaurants, the bars, they also live in other parts of Paris and are coming to the 10th to go out. So that's it's really a hub, a melting pot, a cosmopolitan one. And yeah, that's what's always drawn me to it. There are just so many people on the streets. It's such a vibrant, interesting city in of itself, with a different feeling on the streets than many other parts of Paris.
The melting pot. That's what he said.
It's perfect, isn't it?
So I think, sort of geographically, the 10th is pretty central in Paris. It's not a square, but imagine it's the shape of a square. Very different to the 11th last week.
Which is long.
A long rectangle.
Yeah.
And the top of that square has the Gare du Nord and the Gare de l'Est, both of which we didn't go anywhere near.
The two train stations.
Yeah, the two main train stations. A lot of people come into Paris. It was cool what Alex said about this district being full of people who don't even live here.
Yeah, so the locals are not locals, the unlocal locals.
It really felt busy.
Yeah.
And I think it reminds me of, when I first moved to Paris, I distinctly remember the feeling of getting spat out of the metro, not knowing where I was and being like, I got to adapt to this really quickly.
Yeah.
You can't get spat out and go,
you got to find your feet.
Yeah, you can't go, better get my map out and look at it right here while 1,000 people are going past me. That's what I felt when we got off the metro here, going back to the 10th arrondissement. And what we're going to do, everyone at home, is we're going to take you through some of the things we found, many of which were places we've been a couple times before and we wanted to share, wanted to revisit.
Yeah, some of our personal favorite and classics.
But also some wildly new places.
Yeah.
And I say new to us.
Yeah.
So some good finds coming up. And there's a big difference in the way that we did this episode. For the first time, we didn't spend a night in a hotel.
And weirdly, it didn't change much in terms of how much we managed to fit into a day.
Because we're about halfway through this season. We're slightly over halfway through, if you think about it. And we're starting to evaluate what's working, what's not going to work. Because going into these last 10, these are the tourist hotspots. We want to get this exactly right. And also, it's getting harder to book hotels. Yeah. All the tourists are back in.
I know, which is great.
It's excellent.
Yes.
But what we did is we got on an early metro, headed straight in for brunch at the famed Holybelly cafe.
Famed for a reason.
Yes.
It is excellent.
Excellent place.
Yes.
Now, there's two of them. There's Holybelly 5, Holybelly 19. The 19 is the new one, the newer of the two, opened before the lockdown. And even though we were there at the start of the day, there was still a line to get in.
Yeah.
What does that tell you?
Well, they're doing something very right.
They've got
they have such a reputation, don't they?
Yeah,
for being excellent. It's the best.
We went in and we had delicious pancakes. Can highly recommend the pancakes.
Yeah.
I had
they're so good.
We mixed them around. We got the sweet one and the salty one. Cup of coffees.
Couple of coffees.
No, and it was great. It's a really beautiful spot. I've been there a bunch of times. I interviewed the owner Nico on the podcast at least once, maybe twice.
Yeah.
And you know what I thought?
What?
Let's get him on again.
I mean, why not?
So I went out the front with Nico and I asked him a little bit about the district and about his restaurant. And you'll be happy to hear, Lena, I asked your favorite question.
Yay!
Here we go. Nico, we meet again.
We do.
I gotta say, before anything, there was a queue to get in.
There was.
On a Tuesday morning. What's the secret?
No, but that's only because we're back from a break. It was a big expectation. We were away for a week. People were hungry, but usually, and I'm trying to tell people that, if you come on the weekday, you're fine. The weekends, if you can avoid it, always better. But on a weekday, you gotta be fine, especially at 9.
Okay, but there are people that want to go to your restaurant. It's popular. You can't be humble or modest about that one. But does that tie in a little bit to this district? The big station here. There's a lot of people here.
Yeah.
Do you think being crowded and busy is part of this neighborhood?
I think we definitely got lucky without even realizing it, because when we were first looking for a place almost 10 years ago now, we're going to turn 10 next year, the 10th was kind of like all we could afford. It wasn't really fancy. It wasn't anything really amazing, and then it was pretty much what we could buy with the money we had. Turns out 10 years later it's really a crowded, busy, fun neighborhood. So that was just the luck of the draw, so to speak. But yeah, obviously being the 10th is doesn't hurt. Then you have to go the extra mile, like make sure that everything you serve is delicious, service is good. Being in the 10th itself is not going to guarantee success, but if you pair that with good food and good drinks and good experience, you got to be busy for sure.
People said that this district, I mean, you live here still? Or?
I do, yeah.
So people say that this district has changed a heck of a lot over maybe even more, like 20 years or something like that, 30 years. Do you foresee this is going to keep happening? Is this like the trendy part of town? Is it going to keep zooming upwards?
I don't see why not. I mean, I heard the stories too. I'm a newcomer myself. If you think about it, this neighborhood has been around for, years, and we've only been here 10. But yeah, I heard the stories about this neighborhood being rough and being, dirty and a little sketchy, and now it's definitely not that anymore. So if the same change happens, it's going to be in the next 10 years. It could be that area where everybody wants to go and eat and drink and hang out. It's almost that already. Let's hope it just keeps that extra flavor that the 10th's got, which is a family neighborhood. If it gets too trendy, like Le Marais, maybe it could lose some of its appeal to me, maybe. And right now, we have this nice balance between, it's well known and people know about it, but it's still a little funky, which I like.
If the 10th becomes as cool as the Marais, what becomes the new 10th?
I hear you. The new 10th could be, well, I mean, the 20th. It's a bit sketchy, it's a bit rough. I mean, used to be, but the rents are low, and there's a lot of people doing some cool stuff over there. So
that's why I should buy a cafe if I want.
Hey, that could be the right place.
Okay, I've got two questions left for you.
Go for it.
We just had a great breakfast, as usual. Pancakes, wonderful. The tiles on the floor. What's the deal with them? Are they old school? Is there a cool story?
There's a story about those tiles actually. I was visiting the construction site every day when we first got the space, and then one day I show up and they're just about to pull it off because there was layers upon layers of different floors and tiles and whatnot. And then I show up and the guys are just about to remove it. I'm like, no, we got to keep this. So yeah, it's like a very vintage bakery type tiles, and it's you can still actually see the marks where the ovens used to be and the counter used to be. Yeah, it's cool. It makes the space a little bit more.
Do you know how old they are?
Would be somewhere north of like 50 years old.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
There's
dude.
Some charm to it. Last question. If the 10th arrondissement was a dish from your restaurant, how would you compare it? Which would it be?
Oh, that's a good one. Well, I'm thinking our eggs and sides really sound 10ths to me because like they're yummy, they're uncomplicated, yet they're quite refined, and that's the 10th. It's if you look at it from the outside, let's say you just got to Gare du Nord, you're visiting Paris for a week, and you're like, what am I doing here? This neighborhood is dirty, it's a little complicated to get around. But then if you go further and if you take a bite of the 10th, then it's so much more.
Perfect. And that is exactly what I'm going to do now. Take a bite of the 10th. Thanks for being on the show, Nico. It's been a long time. I hope it isn't that long before we see each other again.
Yes.
And have a good day.
Thanks, man. You too.
Uncomplicated yet refined.
I love that. I love this question.
Yeah.
Do you like it? Do you feel like it goes down with the people you ask it to?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah?
I think so. It's nice to, we could put them all together at the end.
It's just such a fun way to think about something in like a whole new, it forces you to think about something in a new light.
Do you agree with uncomplicated yet refined for the 10th?
I do.
Well, does it also summarize the museum that we went to that you suggested?
I mean, yeah.
Kind of does.
I think it does.
We also learned a new word here for you guys at home who speak French better than we do. We went to, here's the clue, we went to the Éventail Museum.
Musée d'Éventail.
Éventail. What could that be?
Yeah.
It is the, like, fan, as in a handheld fan, the fan that you fan
that
yourself with.
the lovely ladies of the
yes.
the history.
Yeah.
History.
The 18th century. Could be.
I don't know.
No, but this is this museum is a very different one. It's
I never even heard of it.
no. Did someone recommend it to you?
Yes, it was a listener.
Ah, cool. Thank you, dear listener.
Yeah.
We love getting good tips. This museum was up in an old apartment, a former apartment, enormous, by the way.
Yeah, very big. And it was no sign outside. You couldn't see that
no
there was
sign.
a...
It was like an A4 printout,
Tiny.
sort of hidden somewhere. It's far from, like the big museums like the Louvre or the Musée d'Orsay, which have signs all the way down the street for it.
Yeah.
It was the exact opposite.
Yeah, you had to go through like a normal apartment block and up some obscure stairs, and it was not easy to get to.
It was like an orienteering course just to get in.
Yeah,
and then you get in, and a lovely elderly woman let us in. And what was interesting about this museum of handheld fans? I think we need a new word.
It doesn't sound as good in English.
No,
yeah.
No. What was cool about it was it's also an atelier, meaning that lady and someone else were working, making fans.
I love that.
You know what was funny is I talked to her a little bit. I had all these questions, as I often do. And after I asked my last one, I see the sign that says, "Don't disturb the workers while they're working." I felt so bad.
Don't mind me.
But I mean, now I've asked the questions. I can recount some of the things that she said. I was like, "How many fans do you make?" I was probably so annoying.
No, but it was. This was not a busy place.
No,
we were the only ones there, and you had to book an appointment to come and view the collection, and it was a beautiful collection.
Well, that's the
very
thing.
Interesting.
What do you want to talk about the collection? What did you think of it? I personally like the collection, but I love the way they set it out. That final room with the what was it? Walnut.
Yeah.
Walnut.
Dark walnut wooden cabinets and drawers, and it was just it was perfection.
Stunning. Everyone should go. I mean, I think it's the kind of museum where you don't go on your first trip to Paris.
No.
There's a reason that the Louvre is popular. You go and do a checklist on your first trip to Paris. On your second trip or third trip, you start throwing in these unusual ones.
It's a curiosity. If you're into that, like a cabinet of curiosities, this is definitely for you.
And then when you get home and you meet your friends who all have been to Paris before, and they go, "Did you go to the Louvre?" You go, "Yeah." "Did you go to the..." And then you go, "I also went to the fan museum."
Yeah.
And their heads will explode in front of you. What did you think of the fans, though?
You know what? I think we should call it sunfeather, because in Swedish it's sunfeather.
Is that the word for fans?
Yeah, solfjäder. And I think it's much better. So
that's very nice.
The Museum of Sunfeathers.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
do you like them though?
I love them. I mean, there are so many different ones. Some really, really simple Japanese ones with more of like a graphic sort of motif. And then you got the really intricate like lace numbers with painting, and they got sequins, and they got just everything, and hand carved. Everything is done by hand.
There's also no explanations in English, I think. Maybe it's very small ones.
Very few, but also like the English was really weird.
Yeah, but if you go in there, you're going to look.
Yeah.
It's like going to a garden.
Yeah, exactly.
It's you just take it in. We actually recorded a little bit in there. Here's a taste of what it sounds like. When in reality, everyone wants to know what it looks like. But here's a taste of what it sounds like. So we're in the fan museum. The Musée des Éventails. More fans than this show has. It's amazing. In
but
here,
seriously, it's beautiful.
You know what I really liked is it's a working atelier, which means that there are two ladies and they're making fans.
I know. As we're visiting, we can just see them gluing on and gluing the paper to the bamboo or whatever it is.
But it's not just like this. In front of us, there's one made of peacock feathers. There's what is that, ivory or something?
Yeah, lace.
Beautiful,
one,
big. And what did she say?
sequins.
200 square meter atelier. It used to be an apartment. It's incredible.
It's stunning. Well, it seems like you're looking for something.
I am actually.
Oliver, are you looking for something in particular? It looks like you're looking around.
Listen, our new children's book is about an animal that once featured on Paris Fans. That's all I can say.
Okay.
If I find it, though, I'm going to scream. No more clues. Hey, look, they're kookaburras.
Wow. Those creaky floors.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I love that.
Such a good detail.
Creaky floors in a Paris museum.
Yeah.
Nothing better.
Nothing better.
Nothing better. The museum was fun. It's right next to one of the only real sort of old tourist attractions in the 10th. And they're the big ports, the big gateway arches. Don't be mistaken, it's not the Arc de Triomphe.
They look similar but smaller.
They look pretty much the same. I
Yeah.
think there's surely tourists who think that they've seen the Arc de Triomphe.
Yeah, I know. I did in the beginning. I was like, huh?
Yeah.
This is not
and
what
there's
it is.
two of them. There's two quite close together. The full story, keeping it really short, is it's in the place where the gateways were on the Charles V, the King Charles V made big. I am a bit of a wall nerd, but those arches aren't from that wall. A later king, one of the Louis, he put up these beautiful arches in the same place where those gates were once. So they're only from 1670s, I think. They're not from the 1300s, as you know, which is when the
Louis. No, gosh.
Oh, Charlie Boys War.
There we go.
But you must see them. We took some nice pictures. It's easy to take a nice picture of them. And one of them leads up Rue de Faubourg Saint-Denis, which is where we spent our whole evening as well.
And you know what I love about these arches? You know how the Arc de Triomphe is just so grand and it's like really open and everything around it is, is grand and beautiful. And here, it's not really like that. So it's like this huge arch and it's really beautiful architecture in itself. And then surrounding it is like, it's a melting pot.
That's why the Eiffel Tower is so stunning as well, because nothing's near it.
Yeah.
If the Eiffel Tower was in the 20th arrondissement in the middle of Belleville,
with some high rises as well,
no one's going to care about it.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's a good point. Those arches should be visited.
Yeah, I like them.
So we're gonna explain to you all now how we spent the rest of the afternoon, and then we're gonna give our scores on the district. But the next thing that we did was kind of the main thing. We brought the photographer along, Augusta.
Yes.
For the Canal Saint-Martin. This place is special to us because we spent so much time there, but also it's the setting for our children's book. Kylie the Crocodile, after an elderly lady told me that she released crocodiles into this very canal a few years back. So that place has kind of been part of our Paris journey, hasn't it?
It really has.
And I think for the people who don't know anything about it, you imagine the Seine is grand, beautiful, one of the must-see destinations. The canal is kind of like the hipster younger brother of that. Yeah,
definitely. It's what Nico from Holybelly said. It's like it's simple, but it's complex, or something like that.
It's changed a lot. They say that was where all like the drug dealers and the homeless people hung out. Now you're much more likely to see cool new restaurants, beautiful bakeries, and so on. And that's what we did. We visited a bunch of the bakeries. I'm not going to get into it in this podcast. I think we save it for the website, social media, YouTube.
Yeah.
But we went to 3 different bakeries.
It's a bit excessive, but there are so many good ones in the area, and we didn't want to exclude any.
Well, I also wanted to do a taste test.
Yeah.
So we did that, and we sat by the canal, and with Augusta, we walked up and down it too and took some pictures. You'll be seeing them on social media all week, but if you're in Paris and you want to do something a little bit different, I can highly recommend it. If the weather's good, go in the afternoon.
Yeah.
If you're feeling a little bit wild, go there in the evening, but it can get packed.
It can get packed, definitely. But yeah, a little picnic by the canal is such a good idea.
And it's good. Like once you've done the picnic by the Seine, that's turning into the sort of cliched picnic in Paris.
Yeah, a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still nice.
But it's just like, it's like Luxembourg Gardens. It's timeless. The Seine, Luxembourg Gardens, great. This is how you take it to the next level, guys.
A bit offbeat.
This is where you find all the Parisians and not just the tourists.
Yeah. So how about the taste test? Did you have a favorite?
I did like that spiral pistachio chocolate thing from Du Pain et des Idées.
Yeah, that's very good.
It was easy.
Yeah. That's a good one. It's visually stunning.
But they were all good. The Portuguese.
Yeah, the natas.
Yeah, pastel de nata.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
you know what else we did at the canal? I wasn't going to do it. We said that we didn't want to go to the same old things. We used to go to 10 Bells a lot. We used to live quite close to it. And I said, these guys haven't changed for ages. Why are we going to talk about them? As we walked past, I poked my head in. They renovated the whole thing.
Yeah, and it was new since like a week back.
Twice as big. Twice as lovely, and it used to be lovely anyway.
Yeah, looked great.
Just clean, like streamlined, beautiful, like a sort of horseshoe thing. You go in one side, come out the other.
More
perfect
spacious.
place to
really good.
Get a takeaway coffee, sit by the canal, and if you squint, you can see the ghosts of Amelie skimming stones on the locks.
Yeah, and maybe a crocodile or 2.
We haven't talked about the children's books on the podcast for very long.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna say
they sold out.
I know, but
at least here in Europe, at least. At least.
The earfultower.com/shop. That's all I'll say about it. But if you're new around here, we do children's books as well. Now,
nighttime.
Yeah,
that's what we have to dig into,
we
right?
got the babysitter in at this point and thought we should go to Rue de Faubourg Saint-Denis, and I was really interested in this restaurant called Julien. I think it's called Bouillon Julien.
Yeah.
A chain of restaurants. And when I say chain, don't think McDonald's here. These are stunners.
Yeah, it's a very different kind of chain, I guess.
Yeah, this is like an Art Nouveau masterpiece.
So what is a bouillon? Maybe we should start there.
There's a bunch of them around. I know at least maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And they do cheap, like, food that they used to make for the workers.
Yeah.
Soups, like...
it started off as like a sort of a...
big soup kitchen, kind of, was it?
Yeah, for workers.
Yeah.
So they have one big, like, bouillon stock broth, but then evolved a bit. But simple, classic French dishes.
I'd never heard of this place.
Cheap and cheerful.
Had you ever heard of it?
No, weirdly enough. But yeah, I don't know.
We tracked it down, and me as a fan of old Paris buildings, old brasseries, and Art Nouveau places, I was in heaven, let's be honest.
It's very stunning.
I loved it. And it was a kind of show like in some of those French brasseries, you know?
Yeah.
Like the waiters and waitresses were all really fun. We went really classic and got classic French drinks, desserts, food. I'll be totally honest, I didn't think the food was great.
No, I don't think you go there to have like a great meal. But I mean, yes, you do, but you don't.
Yeah, I think this is you go for the experience. It's people often we talk about the interiors of the restaurants and stuff. We're not food critics. Who are we to say?
No, I can't criticize
but
food.
I mean,
I can say if I like it or not.
And I wasn't crazy about the food.
No.
I'll be honest with you. I thought the place was exceptional, and I'd recommend it to anyone.
Would you go again?
Yeah, I'd go again. I'd bring people who hadn't been and be like, "Isn't this place cool?"
I'd go for some real classics from the menu.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
like some very uncomplicated.
I think it reminded me, like, because after we did the Train Bleu in the 12th, a lot of people messaged that they wanted to go there.
Yeah.
A lot of people messaged to say they looked at the menu, it was too expensive. So I'd say to anyone who feels that the blue train, the Train Bleu, was too expensive, go to this place.
Yeah, this is a good like step down from it,
Yep.
but still
This
the
is
same
casual,
sort of
casual
vibe.
version.
Yeah.
You can wear t-shirts here. I think I did.
Fine.
I think I did.
I did too.
Woo! Then it was time for the nightlife. And we spent a lot of time doing the nightlife at the 10th, so we figured we'd do a mix of things that like loved classics and new places. And where we ended up, sort of in brief, Chez Jeanette, a classic old bar.
Yeah, it's such a classic for us as well. We spent many a night there.
Really nice, really beautiful. It's on that same street as well, just a few steps down.
Yeah.
We met some friends there. We turned it into a night out. So that's where you should go if you want the sort of Parisian old experience. A few steps up, you got the Syndicat.
It's all around there, isn't it?
Everything is there.
Yeah.
Melting pot.
It is.
The Syndicat is the ugliest facade on a bar I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's so nothing.
But the inside is a treasure.
Yeah, it's great.
They take the cocktails really seriously. It's all French liquor. And they had weird, experimental kind of thing.
Yeah, it felt very herbal. Everything was like some weird herb.
Do you remember what you had?
No,
Mine
I want to
had
say
curry in it.
Yeah, it was curry, and you also had like a cheese flavor.
That's right.
Yeah,
Curry, cheese, and gin.
Is wild.
It worked.
Yeah, it's delicious, and you wouldn't guess.
No.
I think it was Roquefort.
Oh wow!
I don't know.
I can't remember.
But it was good.
That place is worth a visit, but it's really. You'll see the pictures that like that entry is scary. It's not. If you compare it to Chez Jeanette, it's not scary. Okay, it's not scary.
No, but the entrance, it looks more like you're about to enter like a squat.
Yep.
Than a trendy bar, which when now I say it, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Because what's more trendy than like entering?
But visually, especially compared to the Art Nouveau restaurant, visually it was a mess.
Yeah.
But that's the idea apparently. But it was good. Recommend that to everybody. And then we went to another cocktail bar called Divine,
which is a new find.
And it was a good time. It was really fun. It was young, much younger than us. We felt old. Dancing at the bar, listening to music, and cool staff. At the end, because we had to leave to get back to the babysitter, and I didn't finish my cocktail. Someone wrote in and asked us, do we always finish the food and drink? And I was like, yeah, except this time I didn't finish the drink. And the lady was like, oh, do you want a shot on the way out on the house? I was like, no.
Thank you, but no.
I'm in the older crowd here.
Oh, no, what a loser.
But if you're into cocktails, that place took it seriously. And it was cool.
Really, it was nice. And So the Bouillon Julien, that was like Art Nouveau. This was more Art Deco, but a grungy, gritty, kind of modern Art Deco.
That back room was really beautiful.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah. So there you go. They're all the places that we went. And I feel, now that we're sort of saying them out loud again, that we really got a good mix of the district.
I think so.
A real melting pot.
Yeah,
a mix of old, new Paris.
Exactly. Like brunchy places, lots of different bakeries, and oh my god, yeah,
and the canal,
bistro and the canal.
Yeah,
well, we did a lot.
The only thing we haven't done is discuss
the fan museum.
Oh, the fan museum. That was a good obscure museum. Yeah. The only thing we haven't done is discussed our scores. So let's not mess around. This is to get a score out of 100. I have a feeling it's going to be high from you.
I think so. How about from you?
Same. Yeah. So the strollability out of 10.
8.
Me too.
Oh.
We're in sync with this.
I know.
And a reminder to everyone at home, these districts are getting smaller and smaller, so those strollability scores are going to be high.
Yeah, they're going to shoot through the roof.
Affordability?
7.
8.
8.
That's close
8.
Enough. Yeah, that's close.
Okay. Okay, money bags.
No, but compare the dinner here to the dinner at the Tremblay.
No,
you could get a 10
right.
euro feast here. Shareability?
8.
Whoa, okay.
Money bags.
I put 7. Touristability.
Right. 7.
I put 5.
Oh.
We have to explain this.
Okay.
When there's a discrepancy of 2 or more, we have to just quickly discuss it.
Yeah, that's the new rule.
Yeah. Why do you think it's so touristy?
Well, they have lovely arches.
That was
that people might mistake for the main arch.
Those arches are so far from being a top 50.
Fine. No,
but I thought the canal and the arches together.
Yeah. I'm thinking canal area. I'm thinking Amelie, skimming stones.
Yeah.
No, but
it's okay.
Yeah.
So a 6 on average. People can read between our lines.
Why did you feel so stingy?
I just don't think there were any hits. Like nothing that... Like I feel like if you were to talk to a person who doesn't know Paris so well, and you had to explain to them the hits that were in this district, and you were like, they've got the big arches, and they go, oh, the Arc de Triomphe.
Nah, 2 other ones.
And you go, they've got the canal, and they go, oh yeah, I love the Seine, and you'd be like, no.
Okay.
What about accessibility?
7.
Me too. What does your score add up to?
First I thought it was 47, and then I was like, nah, it's 37.
Whoa, that's by far your highest score. And me too, I did 35. That takes us to 72.
Things are heating up.
That's easily the highest score so far. Top spot for the 10th arrondissement. Ding, 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 ding. Exciting.
I mean, this is, I was going to say that we're finishing on a high. It's not like we finish.
Well, it's funny you say that. Because I'd like to call halftime.
Exactly. Intermission.
We're done.
Entr'acte.
Yes. Someone emailed us the other day because we were talking about the intermission, the entr'acte. We were talking about halftime.
Oh, yeah.
For when we went to the theatre or something. And the word was intermission.
Yeah.
But we're going to do an intermission on this show now for 2 weeks. And the reason is we'll do episodes.
It's not going to stay quiet.
Yeah, we're not going to be quiet.
No.
There's a couple of reasons. One is there's so much we've already done that we want to share properly. You guys listening at home, there's a chance you're not listening to every episode, for example, and we want to really highlight some things that we've done. But also we want to take stock of what we're doing, and we want to go into these popular districts
fully prepared,
knowing exactly what we're going to do. We don't want to mess it up. It actually gets harder when there are more things to do. So we want to plan it out really properly. We want to time it really nicely, and there's a good chance we won't be staying in hotels, which adds an extra element to it as well, like getting there and back. So you won't hear the 9th for 2 weeks, but there's always stuff going on, as I think you all know. You know, this whole episode, we haven't done any kind of ads. You know why?
No.
We don't do ads on this show.
We don't do ads.
No. What we do is a huge thank you, though, to the Patreon supporters, where I recommend $10 a month. You make this happen. That's how we've got Eddie editing the episode. Charlotte is researching them and doing the blogs and the website.
And then Augusta on the behind the lens.
Not to mention Julene babysitting. But also they get extra stuff. For example, when you sign up, you get my guide to Paris. And last week, I did a walk show. Haven't done one for a while. I went back to the 11th Secret Passages. A lot of cool stuff happened. I don't think we talk really about it.
No, not really.
One, shout out to Danny Thomas, who said, see if you can get to the Cité de la Roquette. That he said he's been on Google Maps, traveling vicariously through the internet. He said there's a gate at the end that's often open. There could be treasures in there. So we ended the tour there. I said, this is just me leading people around the world. Get to the gate. It's shut.
No.
Next there's really old, unusual, like it looks like an old London building, right? And I'm sort of finishing up the walk show. What do you think happened? A resident comes up and opens the gate, and I say,
Did you sneak in?
No, I asked her. I said, do you mind if I come in?
Yeah.
And she said, yeah, just
and what was it like?
be respectful. It was cool. It was so the idea is these secret passages, hidden passages, very leafy. You know what we did? We came up with a whole score system for how to rate the perfect passage. And you know what the score system was?
No.
I'm not going to tell you. You got to watch the video. Patreon.com/the Earful Tower. Keep these wheels spinning. To all you current members, thank you so much for supporting our work. And if you wonder why this whole episode seemed like we were talking fast, it's because the battery on my microphone is about to run out. And it needs 2 weeks of charging. We'll be back with some best of episodes and so on in the meantime about this season. Otherwise, in 2 weeks, we'll take you guys to the 9th arrondissement of
I'm
Paris.
excited about that one.
Pigalle.
Yeah.
Oh la la. And much, much more. See you guys then.
Bye-bye.
Bye.